better do this episode some serious justice because this episode was scripted by my mommy. So this episode is all about choosing the right daycare for your child, as the topic already lets you know. And listen, I'm a mom, but my mom is a mom pro max. She has done this 4 times. She has been doing this since 1996, right? So I'm like, yeah, there's no one better to script this video than my mom. So I reached out to her. Same way I reached out to her when I was choosing a daycare for Zimuzo. I told her, please, can you come to my house and let's go to this daycare together? Because I'm trying to put Zimuzo in school or in daycare at the time. And I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. And my mom is super passionate about children. She loves children so much. She also did a lot of volunteer work with kids. So yeah, I called her to help me. So she came and then we walked through Zimuzo school daycare together. And then like the particular thing she was looking out for and she picked. And yeah, it was the one that she approved of that Zimuzo went to.
This is for us moms, a safe space for young women to have real and honest conversations about motherhood. A space for you to feel heard, seen, and understood. And if you're listening, you're absolutely welcome.
Every single thing you're going to hear in this episode is from my mommy. She scripted it and sent it to me because I asked her, I was like, Mommy, what do I tell people, new moms or moms who are introducing their kids to daycare and school for the first time? Like, what do they look out for? How does it go? What are some really, really important things that, we should be looking out for whenever we're choosing a daycare for our kids? And she was like, hold my glass. She sent a long list of like 9 things. So what I'm going to do is I'll read what she says because she just sent like bullet points and a little bit of like an explanation. So I'll read what she says and I'll expand on it based on our experience when we're picking a daycare or a school for Zimuzo to attend. So the first thing she said is trust your motherly instinct. As you arrive to look around and talk with the owner, ensure your senses are alert. Peace of mind is fundamental. It's advisable to go with the child and observe their response as well. Preferably go when the center is in session to have a better feel. Yes, you have to trust your motherly instincts because these things are very important. And your instincts most times is right. So let me give you an example. When I wanted to choose a daycare, a school for Zimuzo, there was one in Lekki Phase 1. I went in. From where we got in, I was like, yeah, this is not it. I just kind of knew that this wasn't where Zimuzo was going to go to. But I was like feeling like, why don't I want this to be the school? I haven't even given the school a chance. So we did the whole school tour. They gave us the school fees. It was okay. Like, I think it was the same thing or very similar to what we're paying right now. I was like, I don't know. I told Chris, I was like, I don't think that this is where Zimuzo should go to. And he was like, yeah, I kind of don't really know. I don't know how I feel about it. And yeah, just based off of instinct, nothing else. It wasn't like the school was bad. It was nice. They had nice toys. The classrooms were really nice, well lit, everything. But I just didn't feel like this was where Zimuzo should be. So that is something that I would credit to instinct. So yes, point number 1 is very, very right. Trust your motherly instinct. You know what is best for that child. Next is location. So she says, the closer to home or office, the better. So you can easily reach your child in an emergency. Health, safety, security, and noise levels around the center are also important. Avoid volatile environments. Yes. So where we chose for Zimuzo to go to school right now is much closer to our house than Lekki 1. We live further down. So if we were to drive to Lekki 1 every single day to pick Zimuzo from school and take him to school, first of all, he's going to have to wake up much earlier than his peers. He's going to get home later than his peers. So it's just like, yeah, no, like right now where he is very close to home. If something happens and they call us, there was a day they called us because guess who? This mom, I've packed Zimuzo's food, but I forgot to put it in his lunchbox. So when he was going to school, he left for school without food, right? And then they called and they were like, oh, Zimuzo only brought snacks to school today. It's time for lunch, but he's not, it's about to be time for lunch, but there's no lunch in his bag. And immediately, less than like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, I was able to go drop his food off and come back home. If his school was far away from us, where do I start from? It has to be childic. The third thing is a safe and secure, child-proof and child-friendly environment. Can the child slip out without notice? Are safety gates in place? Make sure there are no loose electrical connections and sockets. Make sure the grass is low. Running water is available. Check toilets. Cleanliness is very important. 100%. Because when we went to the daycare that Zimuzo is in now, one of the things I was just checking for was like child safety. Because let me tell you something. This Zimuzo, want to buckle my shoe, don't run, you don't go. Like if you're not alert, you wouldn't even know that he's not there anymore and he's doing something else. Like there was one random day, this boy came down from the steps. I was in the house. I was here with him. I just noticed that wait, the house is so too quiet. It's been quiet for like a minute. That's too long. So I shouted. I was like, Zimuzo. And then the way he does, I just knew that you're doing something. So he starts coming down the stairs. You guys, he has Vaseline all over his legs, his hands. He was holding a blob of Vaseline in his hands. I was just like, oh my God, what is going on? So this happened in like less than a minute. So just imagine a teacher who has to deal with like how many children in an environment that's not kids safe. Imagine how many accidents will happen in that kind of an environment. And also cleanliness, oh my gosh, like it is so important because children are still, their immune system is not yet fully built. The last thing you want is for your child to come home always sick because the environment that they're in 5 days out of 7 in the week is not clean. That's something that you really, really need to pay attention to. And it's in the small things, it's in the bookshelf. Like, is the bookshelf dusty? The AC, does it smell dry or dusty? How often do they clean when children are in school? Like, what does the environment look like as you're in it at the moment? Whether school is in session or school is not in session, that was very, very important. You have to make sure that your child is in a clean environment. Because remember that these children, they still bend down and pick things from the floor and put in their mouth. The last thing you want, trust me, is a child that's always coming back home sick. It is not cute. It is not what you want. So when you make money, you want to make sure that you're spending it on the better things in life, not like always going to the hospital. So cleanliness is also super, super important. Yes. Good job, mommy. Good job. I love it so far. So, okay. The next point is observe the owner, caregivers, and non-teaching staff's attitude and experience levels. Ask questions about the center's history, staff turnover, staff qualifications, kindness, gentleness, and passion. This is so important. So where Zimzo is right now, I keep referring to that because like Zimzo is my only child I've ever like put in daycare or whatever. So anyway, where Zimzo is right now, the day we went to check the school out, it was the owner who did the school tour for us. But we didn't know she was going to, obviously, because like we've never been there before. So the way she took us through the school, like the dedication, the passion, you could just feel like the passion and the love for the children oozing out of her. And she did the tour. She, took us through every class, even the classes where Zimzo will not be, took us through what his day will be like, the experiences they've had with children. Because at the time when Zimzo was going to school, he wasn't really talking. You guys, story for another day. But yes, Zimzo was too. How old was Zimzo when he resumed school? I think it was 2. And he wasn't, really talking yet. So I was like, it kind of stressed me out a bit because I'm like, why isn't he talking? Because I know he understands what we're saying. Like, if you're talking to him, he's understanding what it is you're telling him to do. Oh, put this in the trash. Oh, help me get this. He gets what you're saying, but, like, he wasn't really talking at the time. So that stressed me out. So we spoke to her about it as well. We're like, oh, does he need, like, a special needs teacher or something? Like, is there something, She was like, let me tell you something. Like, each child has their pace, and comparing him to other children doesn't really help. And let him start school first and let's see how it goes. If the need for a special teacher comes up, we can look into that. But I think he should start school first. Interacting with other children will make him be more vocal. And oh, was she right? She was so right. And I'm so grateful that I listened to her advice. So yes, the passion that oozes from the owner of the school or from the teachers or whatever is very, very important. Even when we first dropped Jimzo off at school, yeah, he wasn't having it for like the first. It was really, really. It was a tough time for him, like adjusting to not being with his parents 24/7. But now, by the time Zimzo is dressed up and ready for school, you better be at the door. If not, he will be at the door wearing his school bag, lunchbox, ready to go. Like once we drop him off at school, he doesn't even turn around to say bye. Like he just runs into his class. I'm just like. So yeah, he loves his class teachers as well. So yes, it was such a good thing. It was really, really good that the owner gave us peace in the sense that we could tell that she was really, really, really genuinely in love with her children, like the children in school. She was really passionate about what it is that she does. She pays a lot of attention to, the day-to-day of like each child. So where she can tell you this is what your child's day will look like. And this is exactly what Zimzo's day looks like. So yes, the passion and kindness and enthusiasm of the staff is very, very, very important. Very good point. Next point is how many teachers are in a class and how many children. This is very important because the last thing you want to do is put your child in a class where there are too many students or too many children to where they don't get to have personal experiences with the teacher. So this can work when you're in uni. Like when the child is in uni, it doesn't matter. You're there to learn, you've grown and everything. But like at these formative years of a child's life, you need someone who is able to pay attention to that child. The teacher should know that, oh, this is this child's strength. This is where this child needs more help. This is where this child needs assistance. You don't want a class that is overcrowded. So for example, because a lot of people send their children to school when their child is 2, Zimoza's class has, I think there are like 24 or 30 children. So because of that, they split his class into two. So some people are, so let's say it's A and B. I don't remember what it's called. And then there's two teachers in every class, or a teacher and a teaching assistant in every class. So attention is being paid to each child individually. Like when we go and pick Zimuzo, anything we ask about his day, they know. They're able to pay close attention to Zimuzo because there are not many kids in the class compared to if it was a class of 30 children. And then it's children, you guys, children are a lot to handle and deal with. You don't need for that class to be anything more than 12 to 15 children, 16 max. Even that 16 is a lot. 12 to 15 is like the ideal, like, max range of students or of children that should be in a class when they're at this, really young age. So yes, good point, Mama. Number 6 says, what is a typical day schedule like? Is there screen time? How are the children engaged throughout the day? What's their routine? Potty training, does the environment stimulate learning, pictures on the wall, educational toys, sensory classes, singing, dancing? Is there a separate room for napping, or at least a separate corner? Where and how the children eat? Is it clean and is it safe? These are so important. Let me tell you, even the whole thing about napping, having a different room or a different corner for napping is very important, because even at home, if you think about it, the bedroom is a different space from where the child eats, from where the child plays, from if they watch TV, where they watch TV. So it's very important that that's kind of maintained even in school. Then another thing is screen time, right? That was something we asked about a lot before Zimuzo got into school. We didn't want him to have a lot of screen time because we want to be able to control the screen time that he has. So yes, in his school, there's barely any screen time except for interactive moments, which is not even like you're sitting down watching Coco Melon or something. That's not what screen time is like there. And apart from that, there is so much co-curricular activity that goes on there, which I loved, because I want him to be outside. I want him to play with sand. I want him to play with other children. I want him to learn how to do like PE. I want him to do, they have music and dancing. They have all these like fun things that they do. So that was very, very important to me. Some parents don't mind like the extra screen time and all that, but like for Chris and I, we didn't want, that added screen time, because we already have a level of control when it comes to screen time at home. We didn't want him to get any more screen time than what he was already getting. So when they said, oh yeah, no, we don't do screen time here, except when we want to have like maybe interactive sessions and stuff like that, it gave me so much satisfaction, because yes, that's exactly what we're looking for. Also, what's their typical schedule like? So Zim's school, they allow you to start dropping off your children by 7:30, because they assume like people who have 9 to 5 will need to drop their kids off early so they can get to work early. So they allow you to stop dropping off your child by 7:30. But then me, I was like, wait, 7:30 is a little early. So when is he waking up? He's waking up by 6:30 or by 7 to go to school. Why now? Like, I just felt like it was too early. So this one day, Chris went to drop Zimuzo off at school, and then he was like, yeah, why, like, what happens from 7:30 to 8 or to 8:30 when school actually starts? They're like, oh, they have this special thing called circle time, where they just sit down with the children, and then they have like interactive time. They read a book, they sing a song, they have like time to just bond with the kids before the class gets full. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. So Zimuzo started to go earlier, because now I understand, like, okay, oh, they're having circle time where they talk. I don't know how deep you can get with a child, but like kid kind of stuff, like children kind of stuff, so which is really, really nice. So yes, that is very important, knowing what the schedule will be like. Okay, I'm not just dropping my child by 7:30 and then just sitting down and playing with toys until the class gets full. The next point is there a qualified nurse on ground? Very, very important. Is there a qualified nurse on ground? First aid box, nearby hospital. Which hospital do they use? What is the emergency procedure? Are the staff trained in basic emergency procedures for children? If no, is there a nurse? We pray for none, but they need to be prepared. Very, very true. Thank God we've not had any emergency situation when it comes to school and Zimuzo and all that. But it is very important that they have, I think in Zimuzo school, they have a first aid kit in every class. And there's also a sick bay with a nurse. That was very important, because like, what if something happens and then they're not able to reach us for whatever reason? I mean, they're always able to reach us. If you can't reach me, you can reach Chris, right? But then like, what if something happens that needs like emergency attention? That is very, 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 very important. So whenever you go to a daycare or the school that you want your child to go to, it's very, very important that you ask these questions. Like, if he falls sick, if he has an emergency, if he has a seizure, especially if you have a child that is prone to certain things like maybe asthma, like seizures, you want there to be somebody who is a professional on ground. And you also want them to be able to get him to a medical facility that can take care of whatever is wrong with him at the time. So this is very, very important, because now we're talking about life or death. So super important. Next point is drop off and pick up routine. Can anybody just walk in and pick the child? Let me tell you guys, in Zimuzo school, only the parents can pick up the child. And if anybody has to pick the child, the parents have to send a message beforehand. So this one time when Christopher and Chloe, my sisters, were around, I was like, you guys are gonna pick Zimzo up. I don't want to go out. So they went to pick him up. Bro, they called me like, yeah, no, we're not allowed to pick Zimzo up because we're not on the roster to pick him up. Even though we said, oh, we're his aunties or whatever. Zero. They're like, yeah, no. Even Zimzo's nanny at the time could not just go and pick him from school by herself. It had to be either Chris or myself, which I appreciate so much because you never know. You never know. And the last thing you want is for something to happen to you. Imagine your child getting misplaced. What does that mean? Like what, like it's very good that like whoever comes to pick the child has to be one or the other parents. If not the parents, then a message has to be sent ahead of time. And also another thing is that like there are procedures to drop the child. Like you can't just come and drop your child and go. There are procedures, and those procedures have to be followed when you come and pick up as well. So you can't just pick up and go. That's something I really, really appreciate. And I think that's something you should look out for as well when you're picking a daycare for your child. Who can come and pick the child? If somebody else wants to come and pick the child, what happens? Do you guys call me? Do you take a picture of the person? Do I get to know who? Like all these safety procedures. The person said, they're my sister. Take a picture of the person and send it to me. Just in case. Let me know like what's happening. So that's very, very important when it comes to schools and daycares. Yes, very good point for me. Very, very good point. So the next point is there should be a standardized method of communicating with the parents on the child's experience each day. So Zimzo has a communication book, which I think every school has a communication book, or every school should have a communication book. And when he first joined as a new student, we used to get pictures of him like every week or every other day. Actually, sometimes they'll take pictures and send to us and like show us what Zimzo is doing in real time. And then like there was a time when they allowed us to come in and be a fly on the wall. So we come in and then see what he's doing. Like, so we peeped into class and then like just looked at him and saw how he was interacting and all that. So yeah, it was really good. And then his teachers too, like they were very, very free with information. Like, oh, Zimzo didn't eat today. He's not yet having a great time in school, but he would adjust. They just kept on giving us assurance and like just letting us know that he's in good hands. And then like also other children react like this. It's not just Zimzo, so don't be stressed. At a point I was even thinking like, should I move him a class lower? He was really stressed like the first few, was it up to 2 weeks? I don't know, of school. Like he wouldn't eat. When we come and pick him up, he'll be frowning. He was like, upset. Just didn't want to be there. It wasn't like the school was like stressing him or anything. And then there was a time we came to school to pick him up, and he was with he was with the owner of the school. He had been with her all day. She had carried him all day because he just was cranky. And she was like, I don't believe that he needs to be forced. He would adjust. And when he adjusts, he wouldn't need to be with me all day. But like on days when it's hard for him, I believe that we can, extend a level of grace to him. It was so beautiful to see somebody else care for him like that. But yes, Zimzo does have a daily communication book. And I appreciated really, really the first few weeks when he was in school, when they would send us like pictures and videos just so we know how his day is going. So yes, communication is super, super important. As parents, you can't be at work and then you have no idea like what your child learns in school today. Like, all those kind of things are very important. So yes, a communication book at least is very important. The next thing is the center should be government approved. Very important. The center should be government approved. Cite their evidence, like use your eyes to see it. That way you're confident that they're operating legally, they've been assessed and satisfactorily met the minimum requirements for childcare operation. This should go without saying. It's kind of like eating something that doesn't have NAFDAC number. It's really up to you and your good. But, it's very, very important that the school has been checked by, what's the name of the organization? I don't remember. But Zimzo School literally has it framed in the school. Is one of the first things that you see, so that you know that they're like government approved, like they're operating legally. This is not an illegal venture, because what if they are selling children? You never know. Like, so you have to make sure that okay, this is an accredited institution. Yeah, so like you wouldn't eat something that is not NAFDAC approved. The same way you should not send your child to a school that has not been, accredited or declared as safe and legal by the government. That is very important, actually. Mommy, these are such good points. Thank you so very much. So she said, in conclusion, it's normal for a child to cry the initial few days or weeks, but they settle down eventually. It's time to be worried if they don't settle in after at least a month, and specifically if the child is always distressed, not eating, sickly, or losing weight. It's not all about a beautiful ambience, but also with what's going on with your child, which is very true, very important. Like the first few weeks when Zumzo was in school and he was, not having it, I felt really, really bad. Just as a parent, but my mom was like, you know what, he'll adjust. Let's watch him. Just observe whether he starts eating or whether he starts, interacting with his classmates. Let's give it some time. And I'm happy we did, because now there's no way that I love school more than him. So when he comes home, he's always singing, always teaching us something new. Is this number two? This is number two. What is this? Number two. He's always trying to teach us something new, which is so cute. And he loves school. So I'm happy that, number one, I didn't move him a class down. Number two, I was patient. I waited it out about 2 weeks plus. But then also, there was something about when I resigned and I started working from home that I kind of noticed that he was. I think just knowing that when he comes back, he'll say mommy and daddy was something that also influenced like how he adjusted, and him just knowing that, okay, they're going to come back and pick me. So, when it comes to children, yeah, you have to be patient. You have to kind of watch them, because, sometimes they'll be naughty. They'll do something so that you would adjust to what they want, But all in all, I think when choosing a daycare for your child, all of these points that my mother has raised and given us are very, very important. I think one last thing I'll add is their discipline policy. Don't beat my child. Do not beat my child. Anything he does, tell me. I will discipline him at home. But please don't beat my child. I think that's very, very important. How do they discipline them? Do they do naughty corner? Do they kneel down? What is the discipline policy like? I think that's something very important to ask about. Yeah, that's that about this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you loved it. If you have any feedback or anything you want me to tell my mom for putting this together for us, let me know in the comments and I would let her know. I would tell her to read all of the comments so she can see you guys appreciate what she did and everything. All in all, I know that putting a child in daycare is a crazy experience, but I hope that with this video helps you know that, sometimes your child, when you first put a child in daycare or in school, they might be cranky, but they'll be okay. Hope this video also gives you a nice list of things to look out for when it comes to picking a daycare or a school for your child. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll have a video up on Tuesday by 6 p.m. Until then, thank you so much for being a part of the For Us Moms community, my upper level management. Yes, my undisputed MVPs, my moms. Thank you so much for being a part of the community. Until next week, see you. Be gentle with yourselves. Love you. Bye.